Buckingham Palace just confirmed a shocking move. Meghan Markle would no longer hold a royal title. Those were the words shaking royal circles, media rooms, and private hallways across the United Kingdom. It was not just a rumor. It was not a whisper. This was a statement tied to the most explosive scandal the monarchy has faced in decades. The connection was not about Meghan herself being involved with Epstein. Instead, it came from the dark shadow hanging over Prince Andrew, a royal who had long been entangled in Epstein's world. And because Meghan had tied herself to this family, and because she and Harry had used their royal titles as part of their public identity, the palace made it clear there would be consequences. For years, Meghan Markle had wrapped herself in the power of the title Duchess of Sussex. It was her identity, her brand, her shield. But now, with the Epstein scandal roaring back to life and the royal house under fire like never before, the palace was done playing nice. The message from inside royal walls was simple: this title will not protect her anymore. And the person leading that charge, not Parliament, but the next king in waiting, Prince William. And that is where this story truly begins. For years, people believed royal titles were untouchable, permanent, protected, something only a royal could surrender voluntarily. But everything changed with one document, a letters patent. After Andrew's scandal exploded after the Epstein connection, the lies, the payoffs, and the disgrace, pressure poured into the palace. Something had to change. The monarchy could not let a royal keep a title while swimming in controversy. So, a new letters patent was introduced, and it did something shocking. It made title removal possible by force. No permission needed, no agreement required. This was the tool William needed. Before this, a royal like Andrew could simply refuse to give up a title, but now the crown could take it, strip it, erase it with a signature. That meant legally and officially, Harry and Meghan could lose every royal title whether they agreed or not. And once William becomes king, that power sits entirely in his hands. And with this legal weapon, the path was clear. The titles were no longer protected. The clock was already ticking, and in William's new monarchy, no one, not even his own brother, was safe. To understand why William was willing to swing the axe so hard, you have to look at the event that shattered the last bit of royal patience, the Andrew scandal. For years, the monarchy had tried to survive it. They distanced themselves. They issued statements. They held back information. They hoped it would fade, but it did not. Instead, it grew darker, it grew louder, and it grew more dangerous. According to reports, Andrew had not only been tied to Jeffrey Epstein socially, but financially. The scandal revealed allegations of inappropriate involvement, private meetings, and questionable decisions. And then came something even more disturbing. Claims that Andrew had influenced police forces, including Scotland Yard, to protect him from negative press by targeting and discrediting others, including Virginia Roberts. This was not just embarrassment. This was corruption. This was a royal using his title like a shield and a weapon. Then came PURGE. The woman who had painted herself as cheerful and harmless, was accused of accepting financial support linked to Epstein, possibly more than the public first believed. Sources suggested that Epstein had supported her lifestyle for years. She was tied to Andrew's world, and Andrew was tied to Epstein's. Suddenly, the monarchy was not just dealing with scandal, it was dealing with contamination. A royal house soaked in headlines about exploitation, money, lies, influence, and abuse. The public was furious, Parliament was uneasy, and the palace was terrified. The dam finally broke when internal discussions revealed just how deep Andrew's actions had cut into the monarchy's credibility. It was not just a headline, it was a threat to the crown itself, and William saw the truth. If one scandal could nearly destroy the monarchy, what would 5 more do? Andrew was not just a mistake. He was a warning, a flashing red light, a sign that the old system where titles were permanent and untouchable was a disaster waiting to happen. In that moment, William made the call: there will be no more Andrews. And that meant any royal, past, present, or future, who held a title without accountability had to lose it. After Andrew, the palace looked toward the horizon, toward the next risk. And the biggest risk, according to insiders, was Harry and Meghan. Not because of crime, not because of Epstein, but because of something the monarchy fears even more: uncontrolled influence. Even outside the royal family, Harry and Meghan had kept their titles. They had used Duke and Duchess of Sussex in media deals, book deals, interviews, and public branding. Their royal identity became a business tool, a global badge of power, and to William, that was a ticking time bomb. Why? Because titles create access. Titles create credibility. Titles open doors. Even if Harry and Meghan stopped criticizing the monarchy today, the palace believed there was a real risk that one day, when money ran low, or attention faded, or opportunities dried up, those titles could be traded again for influence, for platforms, for profit. And every time they used those titles publicly, the crown was dragged into their world, their decisions, their statements, their controversies. The monarchy had no control, but all the consequences. Sources say William saw this clearly. If Andrew proved the danger of royal titles in the wrong hands, then Harry and Meghan were the next possible disaster. Their public identity was not based on service. It was based on storytelling, books, podcasts, shows, deals, speeches. Every time they spoke, the world listened, not because of who they were, but because of what they were called: Duke, Duchess, Royal. So the conclusion was simple: remove the titles now before they can be weaponized, before they become another scandal, before history repeats itself. In William's eyes, the monarchy could survive losing 2 people, but it might not survive another explosion. And the only way to stop that future was to stop the titles for good. While all of this was building, something else was happening inside the palace, something just as important. King Charles was fading, not physically gone, but weakening in power, respect, and authority. Criticism grew around him. People whispered that he was too soft, too gentle, too hesitant. He wanted peace instead of action. He wanted calm instead of confrontation, and the monarchy paid the price. He hesitated on Andrew. He hesitated on Harry. He hesitated on Meghan. While he waited, scandals grew. Sources claimed Charles listened mostly to Queen Camilla, shrinking into a quiet circle instead of standing firm as a king. And with his health under constant watch, a question started growing louder. Is Charles strong enough to lead the crown through crisis? Behind the scenes, Parliament was restless. Advisors were nervous. The public was losing patience. Some even whispered about abdication, the possibility that Charles might step down earlier than expected. And in that tension, one figure rose like a shadow growing taller: Prince William. He was not emotional. He was not sentimental. He was not afraid to be ruthless. He saw what Charles did not, that the monarchy could not survive on kindness. It needed strength. It needed control. It needed a leader who was ready to make brutal decisions. Decisions that might hurt feelings but save the crown. William was not waiting. He was preparing for the moment the throne would be his. And when that moment comes, the purge begins. There is one belief the world has always held about royalty: family protects family. But William shattered that idea. Reports claim he is willing to strip titles, even from his own children, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, if they grow up and choose not to serve the monarchy. Think about that. A father willing to remove titles from his own blood. A prince willing to cut his own family tree. Why? Because William believes the monarchy is bigger than DNA, bigger than feelings, bigger than tradition. To him, titles are not birthrights. They are uniforms. And you only wear the uniform if you do the work. If he is willing to take away titles from Charlotte and Louis, then Harry and Meghan never stood a chance. This is not personal. This is principle. William would rather sacrifice parts of his own family than allow another Andrew situation. He would rather endure pain today than risk disaster tomorrow. To him, blood is not protection, service is protection, duty is protection, and if you abandon duty, you abandon the title, no exceptions. Not even for a brother, not even for a sister-in-law, not even for a nephew or niece. This is the coldest message William has ever sent. You are either with the crown or outside of it. Once you step outside, the crown does not follow you. Somewhere deep inside the palace, in a quiet office behind guarded doors, the future of the monarchy sits in silence. A stack of papers, a prepared framework awaiting signature. Everything needed to erase a royal identity forever. The air around the monarchy feels different now. Heavy, charged, like the calm before thunder, because everyone inside those walls knows the truth. History is moving. William is no longer the young prince walking 2 steps behind. He is the storm approaching the throne. He is the force ready to cut, reshape, rebuild, and redefine what royalty means. The titles that once seemed eternal are hanging by threads. Harry and Meghan feel it. The palace feels it. The public feels it. A countdown has begun, silent, invisible, unstoppable. One day soon, a moment will come when William steps forward as king, and when that moment arrives, he will not hesitate. The reset will begin, the purge will strike, the titles will fall, and the monarchy will enter a new age, an age with fewer names, fewer crowns, fewer shields, an age built on strength, not sentiment. And somewhere across the ocean, Harry and Meghan will watch as the titles that once lifted them vanish like mist. No more Duke, no more Duchess, no more royal identity, just the world and their name, Mountbatten Windsor. And in the silence that follows, one question will echo through royal history. Was this the day the monarchy saved itself, or the day the family broke forever? Because the storm is not over. It has not even started. It is coming, and nothing, not titles, not blood, not history, can stop it now.